Helping Seniors Television, all about improving quality of life for seniors. If you're a senior, know a senior, or plan to be a senior, then this show is for you. It's all about helping you develop your own aging plan so you can age actively and with dignity. Helping Seniors Television from the Helping Seniors Network of information, education, and resources.
On today's edition of Helping Seniors, we visit with Sam Kosmick, Life Enrichment Director of Zon Beachside Assisted Living and Memory Care, about how interaction and activities help keep us thriving in our senior years.
I'm Kerry Fink with Helping Seniors of Brevard. What a pleasure it is to have you here for today's edition of Helping Seniors TV. So we are having the privilege today of welcoming you into this, which is a great resource as you develop your own aging plan. Our whole goal at Helping Seniors is to help you get a sense of creating your own aging plan, or as we often euphemistically put it, getting your ducks in a row. And that means getting all the information that will help you on the journey. Our president and founder, Joe Steckler, has always been a great proponent of that. Much like we live here in Florida and we know how to create a hurricane plan. Doesn't mean we want a hurricane, but it means we're going to think of ways that we can react in case they tell us one's coming. And we should look at aging the same way. We hopefully will avoid many of these pitfalls, but let's understand what our options are, because they're many, they're great, and they're varied. And today we're going to talk about something that I think is so important. It's called life enrichment, and in particular, we're going to talk about life enrichment in assisted living. And our guest today is Sam Kosmick, who is the Director of Life Enrichment here at Zon Beachside Luxury Assisted Living and Memory Care. Welcome, Sam. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good.
You know,
thanks for having me.
I am so glad you're here, because I am literally a fan of all that you do here. I was telling you before the camera was rolling that I remember when Joe Steckler, our president and founder, sat down with Greg Kennedy, who's at that time was executive director, now he's vice president of the whole organization. But I remember him talking before this place was built that he really wanted to put in high tech so that he could do everything possible to keep the seniors safe and take advantage of everything that existed out there to do that. But at the same time, he wanted it to be high touch, so that there was a real strong focus on community. And when I met you and heard that you had actually helped Joe in getting the Joe's Clubs and moving all that forward with daycare, you've been doing this for quite a while. Tell a little bit about your own background, Sam.
I've been doing this about 22 years.
Wow.
And just wanted to say what enticed me here, because you said the whole aging, is that they do aging in place here. And not only is it high tech, it's high class.
Yes.
And that's what really kind of enticed me to come here, because the dining experience, all the amenities that go with the place is wonderful. I actually started in this field in developmentally delayed or challenged individuals. And I ran a group home back in Canada. So I worked with the mentally and physically disabled. And then I kind of got into social work here. And then I kind of fell into activities by accident, but with all my theater background, music background, everything else, art, everything else, it just kind of fell into place. Wow. So then I went back to school again, and then got certified. And so I'm certified activity director, or life enrichment director, certified dementia practitioner, Alzheimer's, memory care, adult daycare, Montessori. I just finished core training. Yeah, this is my calling.
No, there's no doubt about it.
Definitely.
And I was thinking as you were talking about it, you know, we were talking about so often in the general public, when we're not close to the assisted living industry. I wanted to bring up this point that Zon actually, in your line, it says luxury assisted living. And for most of us, the sad part is what we bring to mind is when we were kids, small kids, and maybe having to go visit great grandma at, quote, the old folks home. That's all we knew to call it then. And we kind of came away a little bit almost shell-shocked, because it was not a very happy place, or we don't remember it as a happy place. And wow, here we are.
There's a stigma attached to it.
Here we are in 2022, and nothing could be further than the truth.
Right. Because you're viewing back in the day when everybody just kind of sat around in corridors and did nothing. I think the only activity at that particular time was bingo.
Wow.
Which has been around forever. And this is actually the first place I've ever worked that bingo is only one time a week.
Wow.
That's how much quality of activities that we have throughout the time. Because it's all about quality of care, quality of living. You know, if you provide them more choices, more things, because you've got a vast population to deal with too. You know, interracial, intergenerational, you know, multi-denominational.
Yeah.
So you have to have activities for everybody at every level at any given time.
Yeah,
things can change.
It can't make your job easy because you're taking all these people who come from different backgrounds, and yet your responsibility is to try to improve quality of life through and keep them active and involved in everything. So it can't be a simple job, but it's one that you excel at. And one of the things that I wanted to really just talk about and compliment you on is, we were talking before the camera's rolling. So often people will say, assisted living, I don't know, mom or dad, they love to be at home, they're not social people, they don't really want to be in that kind of an environment. And what does mom or dad do all day? They're sitting at home, they're sitting in the recliner, they're watching TV, kind of almost mindlessly. And if you met them in that particular moment, they may almost seem halfway to checkout. And yet, I've seen people like that who then come to a place where there's a vibrant community, things are happening, and you see this person 3 months later, you can't imagine it's the same person, because the same person who you thought was not going to come out of their shell, it's a whole different story. Talk about that.
Well, I think a lot of it is they lack the stimulation. When they're at home, you're a creature of habit and you kind of fall into a rut. You think this is it. This is all I have left in my life is get something to eat, get cleaned up, watch TV, do the same routine over and over. But when you have other choices that are involved and you have people that are encouraging you, and the trick is to find the niche. What did you used to do? What do you do currently? And what are you interested in doing in the future? So you try to find that niche with each individual, and you have to do a lot of encouragement. I never say, would you like to come? I say, come on, it's time to go. Entertainment's happening. Do you want to come now, or do you want to come 5 minutes from now? You know, I'll come back and get you, but you're going to love this. And that seems to be a common denominator, is entertainment. And if you can start pulling people out with the entertainment and the music, because they all have different genres, but you can find different musical genres that cater to everybody. Once you get them out of your room, then you're mine.
Well, it's fascinating because in your role as life enrichment, I see you running from morning till evening, and you have such a full schedule. I think it was an interesting comment. You had to tell a person, it's okay, you don't have to be at everything we're doing. You can relax some too.
Yeah, we have back-to-back entertainment, and then they say, well, we can't keep up. We can't go to everything. I said, don't come to everything. I want you only to pick and choose. Let's highlight on your calendar. Let's see what you're really interested in, what you really want to go to, because you don't want to burn them out. You don't want to make them tired either, because it's a real package. You've got to have your exercise, which they love, good nutrition, lots of fun, spirituality. You know, you pull it all together, but you need your rest.
Yeah.
You've got to have rest in between. So
it's like finding that right balance.
Yes.
And, you know, I've heard it oftentimes, you know, maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I've heard people kind of refer to your role is you're a lot like the cruise director. You're trying to make sure that everybody on the ship has lots of things to choose from, and you also understand not everything is going to be for every guest. Here, though, you actually have to go well beyond that, because it's not like you get to change passengers every week. Right. You have to really create a sense of community.
Be creative, change things up. A lot of people are a creature of habit. They don't like change. Yeah. But if you do change slowly, or give them that choice of change, I think they adapt a lot easier. You know, so you give them choices. You gotta have choices.
Yeah, I think there was some.
They do call me the cruise director.
Well, yeah. What's our next port of call?
Good morning. Our next activity.
I love it. But you know, one of the things that I thought must be very fulfilling for you is when you hear somebody talk to you. And I thought it was interesting how you said that a lot of times you sit with the residents and your goal is to draw out of them so that they're contributing into the activities, not just, hey, I thought of this for you, but going both ways.
That's correct. I've had family that say, I'm sorry, my father or my mother will never come out. That's what their history is. They'll never come out. So good luck trying. I'm like, okay, give me some time. Can't get past the dimples. So I have somebody like an artist who said he would never come out of his room.
Right.
And I actually encouraged him, and people love compliments, and people love to help. So if you compliment something that you're really good at, and then you try to turn it around as, can you help me?
Yeah.
Can you help me help others and empower them? And so I got this individual out. He came. He ended up finally doing an exhibit of all his artwork. They said he would never speak in front of people.
Wow.
By the time I was talking with him, working with him, he was so proud and so empowered that he got up and I couldn't get the mic away from him.
Wow.
He was really, really, really good and very proud of his stuff. And I think that's the key.
Yeah.
Make people feel important, special.
Well, you have such, first of all, you have a tremendous facility. If you haven't had a chance to come and see the facility here beachside, it is an amazing, I would call it a state-of-the-art facility. You have everything. We did a show actually on the Helping Seniors, and you'll find this if you look either on our Helping Seniors YouTube channel, you could find it on our Facebook page, you can also find it on our helpingseniorsofbrevard.org website, where we actually had the chance to sit and talk with some of the key, I would call it the executive team here. We talked to you, we talked to your director of nursing, we talked to Chef Jason, we talked to Alfredo, who's the executive director, and got a little bit of a sense of the amazing things you have at the facility. In fact, I think we filmed your segment in the theater. You have a theater here. You have a chapel. You have the Nautilus Ballroom. You have all these wonderful locations. But I guess part of it is when you sit down and you try to program, because you know you've got residents from all these different backgrounds, that must be quite a task for you to figure out, how do I engage all of these people on an ongoing basis?
Very true. Number one, though, what you touched on, we all have the same philosophy. And I love the fact that that's one of the reasons I came here, is because aging in place. We're building independent living. When you're no longer appropriate for independent living, you kind of move into assisted living. And we will help you through the process, the aging process, all the way through to even to memory care or to hospice. Your family. We adopt you, and we are all so close-knit here that it's great. We're a team. We all help each other in every department. So when we do big events and family events, everybody steps on board, and everybody helps out with decorating and making sure that this is orchestrated and that you get your best possible experience.
You know, I was thinking, like, you know, you can have a beautiful physical facility, and this certainly is that. And yet, you could go into a beautiful physical facility and not feel the warmth or community there, in which case it would be nothing but a pretty building.
Aesthetics. Yeah.
And so what you bring to this is so important. I guess for a new resident, talk a little bit about, as somebody is moving into the community, how do you go out of your way to get to know them and to get them engaged? Because you offer so many different things.
Right. Well, initially upon their arrival, I usually try to catch them on their tour so I can kind of meet them so they can get familiar with me, because I have one of those faces, everybody thinks they know me from somewhere.
Sure.
So I'll meet them, then when they first move in, I will go to their room personally and give them a little welcome package, their calendar, a welcome letter, a nice little name badge, go through the calendar with them, introduce them to other people that I think are appropriate or compatible to their nature or their ability, and try to meet them. So, because we do a lot of resident on resident, we do a lot of outreach here, which is great. So resident on resident, we adopt a resident, outreach, in fact, that everybody loves to collectively get together, and we do couponing for the base. We help out with the prisons, with the hospitals. So we have a lot of different needs to give back to the community and give back to ourselves. And I think nurturing others nurtures your soul.
That is fascinating because, you know, I don't know that I would have thought of that you actually seek out projects where the community here at Zon is trying to make a difference in the community itself.
Yeah,
I mean, I know you guys are very kind to us. You allow us to come in. We do a thing here called the Senior Resource Center Brevard, which is open to the general public, and they get to come in, and through our process, we're trying to provide them information that helps them on that journey of making an aging plan. But you take it to another step. You're actually having the community do things that are benefiting folks out there too.
Exactly. And I just want to say, I live to laugh. So if you can find that humor in life and in everything else, so when you bond with somebody and find a little bit of humor in them, that helps people relax. Yeah. So when they first come here, I make a few jokes, and pretty soon they get on board. There's things that are therapeutic too. That you have. We have gardening clubs that come in here. We have therapy dogs all the time.
Wow.
Children that come in here. Humor. There's so many things that are therapeutic. Yeah. So you bring those things out, bring them in, and it brings them out.
Wow. So when you sit down with a calendar and you say, I want to program how I want to create that environment over months, quarters, year, how do you look at that? I mean, obviously you're drawing from your experience, but you also know the tools that you have to work with here. You know the makeup of the folks here. We were talking a little bit before the cameras rolling that you came into this in quite a chaotic time because the pandemic had just caused lockdowns and everything had to shift. And we've talked so many times about what a challenge that is, because the whole point of creating what you do with life enrichment is getting people engaged in things, and all of a sudden none of these people could see their relatives because they were not permitted to be here. That put an extra stress on what you guys had to try to do the best you could with all these new rules, and they can't see their family at holidays and things like that.
Right. Well, it kind of goes back to empowering them once again, because most of my activities are based about what they want,
right?
Not just what I want. And I tell people that all the time, is what do you want? Right. The same thing when they're on lockdown. What can I do to provide some interest for you, to provide some stimulation? What is it you want to do in your spare time? I don't want you to just sleep the day away.
Right.
You know, so if it's sitting with them and talking, telling stories, finding out their life history, which is great because that wakes people up.
Yep.
You know, providing music, which is the last memory to go. Yeah. Always make sure that you have music involved in most everything that you do. You know, providing snacks for them in their leisure time, magazines, books. I bring bingo to the room, so they don't have to go out. So, yeah, it made it very tough during COVID. Very, very tough.
Well, it probably only enhances our appreciation for the validity of needing to have that interaction with folks. And so now that we're sort of moving along in a post-COVID world where hopefully we've all had our shots and we're moving forward and trying to gain a new foothold, and things are moving in the direction that allows you to now have entertainment come in from outside. You can have visitors and things like that we weren't able to do even a while back. That's probably an assist to you as you're trying to make the biggest difference you can for the folks.
Exactly, exactly. Open the doors. It opened Pandora's box into fun, a lot more fun, you know, throughout the whole building, throughout each individual, through outings, through individuality, connection. Yeah, it's vast, because then it also opens the door to the community, to all the entertainers. I have a plethora of entertainers, and a lot of them during lockdown, none of them came back out again.
Right.
So luckily I had a following of entertainers that called me and said, hey, are you open yet? Are you ready for us to come back yet? So it's been very lovely in that sense that we can bring a lot more music, a lot more entertainers in. I mean, I can pride myself to say that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, like almost 5 days a week of entertainment.
Wow. Yeah, you actually go to the point, I heard somebody make reference to, you actually do like a daily publication. I would almost call it like a cruise log of all the things that are going on every day.
A daily chronicle. So not only do you have on your channels, which is nice, you've got channel 2, that you can view everything that's coming up in the building.
Wow.
Your menu. We have big TVs posted that will show it in the lobby areas. So it tells you what's going on through the day. And then every day you get your own personal chronicle that tells you the series of events that's going on throughout the day. So it makes it easier for people to follow.
Well, that's terrific, because it just means that, you know, the person can get this and then decide what makes the most sense for them, depending on, you know, everything from how they feel to if they have other things that they're going to try to do on that day. That's terrific.
Right.
What is a key to you as you're talking to somebody and you're trying to match up and maybe direct them on the right steps towards activities that are going to be particularly beneficial for them? Obviously, with your experience, a large part of it's going to be intuitive, but like if you're just talking to maybe an adult child of a parent and they're concerned, they want to get mom or dad more engaged, and maybe they are a great candidate to come here and take a tour of Zon. But just in general, what expertise might you share to that person who's trying to get mom or dad more engaged just in life in general?
Oh my God, it's like a case study. Everybody's different. Sometimes I might have to get family involvement, say, why don't you come to this big event, bring mom or dad along. So it makes it a little easier for them. You know, if they love to dance, then I can get them up dancing, and then pretty soon, like I said, then they're mine.
Right.
You know, but sometimes you want family to back off, because then they say, well, I'm not going to go anywhere, I just want to visit with my family, so I'm not going to go out. So each individual is a different case, you know, a case study, so to speak, because you have to find your niche with them. You got to find out what their activity history is, what their likes and dislikes is. It's like us in the real world trying to meet people socially. Some people you bond with, some people you do not bond with, and we do a lot of tag teaming. Like a lot of times they'll say no to my assistant, and I'll walk in the room and say, yeah, come on, it's time to go. And I can't say no, and sometimes you might just have to wait 5 minutes and then reiterate and try again, and
So one of the things that I really do notice, and I notice that with everybody here, is that for you, you don't perceive this as your job. This is your calling. This is what you're here to do. Talk about why that makes such a difference.
Oh my gosh, because I sleep so well at night. It does, in that sense. If I make them happy, then I'm happy. And if I can make them smile, laugh throughout the day, and everybody knows me in this place for constantly making jokes, constantly making people happy, and just being goofy and silly. You've got to be animated. You're like a giant, I'm like a giant cartoon that walks around this building. So, and it makes people happy, they have a good time. Then when I leave, I go, I can breathe. That everybody is in place, all the activities are in place, everybody knows what's going on. You know, my assistants know what's happening. Call me anytime. I always tell everybody, just call me, make sure it works. If it's a big event, I'm going to be there regardless to make sure it's a success.
You know, I would say it sort of is like when you're here, you are at home, because this is like an extended family.
This is my second home. It is. It is. I tell them all that. We're family. We're family. I spend more time with you than I do at my own home. So yes, we are like family.
It's a wonderful thing. Well, I know I want to just kind of bring us up to a close by saying, you know, if you're talking to somebody who's maybe been afraid, they have a misconception about an assisted living or what it could mean in their life, or maybe they just don't think mom or dad might be right, they're too much of an aloner. These are things you must have heard hundreds of times in your career working and helping families. How do you encourage somebody? Say, don't make these assumptions. What do you tell them?
Change is difficult for anybody, but you've got to take risks in life. You just do. If you feel that your loved one is isolated at home, they never want to leave their house, they never want to go away, that this is what they do, they watch TV every day, but they can't take care of themselves, I said, give it a try. Come in for a tour. Let us meet with you. Let us talk with you. And if you bring everything, their furniture, if you don't bring Mohammed to the mountain, bring the mountain to Mohammed. bring their furniture, their favorite chair, everything else, design that room to make it homey. Then they got their home environment, and they also got a whole new family. So that encourages them, and it's a renewal, because it's a proven fact, quality of life, activities. You live longer, you have less medication that you're doing, less trips to the hospital, you're just all around a happier person, and you're going to have better quality and a longer life.
It's so important what you're saying. So if somebody wanted to take a tour or get involved, learn more, come out and see what Zon Beachside looks like, how do you recommend that they go about doing that?
I would say call. Call first, set up, let us know that you want to come in for a tour, so that way we can slot the time for you. And that way it gives you more time, gives us more time to walk you through everything. But it's not uncommon for somebody just to come off the street. We're very accommodating. We got nothing to hide, only to show off.
Oh, that's a great line right there. So we have been talking with Sam Kosmick, who is the Director of Life Enrichment here at Zon Beachside Luxury Assisted Living. And now you guys are embarking on independent living. So like you said, you can really manage all aspects of senior living right here. And just before we close, I just want to have you look at the camera and maybe invite somebody to check out a life here that might be different than maybe what's been going on in their imagination.
Well, I'm just going to say, give it a whirl. Give it a try. You've got to take a risk in life. Come on down. Come and meet us. You'll love us. You'll love us, and don't want to leave. You'll want to stay.
Well, thank you, Sam, for joining us. On behalf of Joe Steckler, who's our president and founder of the Helping Seniors organization, I want to thank you so much for taking a look at this TV program today. I also want to encourage you to take a look at the full library of materials that are available on the Helping Seniors website, helpingseniorsofbrevard.org. In particular, take a look at the program entitled Zon Beachside Assisted Living. You will get a lot out of that program because we'll actually be talking with Sam in that, but also some of the other great folks that make Zon Beachside such a good place. So till next time, I'm Kerry Fink. On behalf of Joe Steckler, we'll see you soon.
Get ready to have fun and laugh a lot.
I'm Joe Steckler. Thank you for joining our program today. I'd like to remind you that our senior information line is available to you at 321-473-7770. There you can get help and direction that could be helpful for your specific situation or circumstances. The work of helping seniors is very important, but we can't do it alone. That is why our sponsors here in Brevard County are so important. I'd like to thank our many area sponsors, businesses and medical providers who support the mission of helping seniors that help us carry the cost of our media efforts. If you'd like to join us either as a business partner or simply donate as an individual, we would welcome your call at 321-473-7770. You are always welcome to visit our website at www.helpingseniorsofbrevard.org. Thanks so much for your help. It does make a difference.